And welcome back here to Open. Daren Jaime here with you, and we're glad to have you sharing with us as we continue to bring you the news, the information, and the things that you need to know, particularly as we all try to navigate around this COVID-19. And for COVID-19, the effects far-reaching. When it comes to seniors, highly vulnerable population, and as they're a highly vulnerable population, questions begin to answer. How does it work within senior centers? We hear of nursing homes that are continuing to face increasing numbers with regards of positive cases. And then yet and still, how are those who are inside of those facilities dealing and navigating, particularly when it comes to the issue of dementia? Our guest now begins to share with us a little bit about just that and how seniors are navigating and what their organization is dealing with. I'm pleased to be joined by Peter Swanson, and Peter is the Director of Adult Day and Caregiver Services for the Riverdale Senior Services and RSS, better known. And Peter, good to have you.
Yes, good morning, Daren.
Good morning, and certainly thank you for taking the time to share with us. And a very important topic, because when we talk about seniors, definitely the most vulnerable population in all of this. And for those who are in senior centers, we know the numbers of confirmed cases continues to increase and questions continue to rise. But give us a little bit about, first of all, how you guys are navigating as a senior center in the wake of the latest numbers.
Yes, absolutely. So, as a senior center, we have transitioned to a fully, digital, sort of online presence, phone presence, since mid-March. And, we really wanted to make ourselves visible and, known to our community of members, that we are, still here. We are very much involved in making sure you have what you need and you have the support that you're looking for during the coronavirus crisis. So we have transitioned to be present in that way by taking phone calls, making phone calls, responding to email, building our web presence to do that.
And talk to us a little bit about COVID-19, because we talk about people with dementia. And I know that's a group, a particular demographic that you spend a lot of time dealing with. And there is this misnomer about dementia and COVID-19. So share with us a little bit about that misnomer and how you're dealing with those with dementia.
Sure. So as you may know, Riverdale Senior Services has a dementia-specific program, our Adult Day Program for memory loss, and we serve some of our most vulnerable members in that program. They would normally come to our center, count on us for those social connections, those essential activities that bring a sense of meaning and purpose into their lives, and at the same time, a really needed respite for their caregivers. Because of COVID-19, it's no longer safe to have those group programs. So how do we maintain that sense of connection, and that sense of community now in a digital age? And I would say it's really through a regular campaign of outreach that we're making to all of our families and an effort to really bridge those gaps, especially when it comes to using technology to make those connections possible. So encouraging caregivers to get familiar with platforms like Zoom, like FaceTime, like
Right.
any number of other options in terms of being able to not only have that voice connection as you might have on the phone, but also that visual connection. And because we built these wonderful relationships over time, we can capitalize on that now by, bridging some of those issues like confusion that can often come up with dementia, like aphasia, which is not being able to express oneself, through speech, or hearing loss. And when you have that visual, like we do now, you can overcome those and you can have that moment. It's like, oh yeah, Peter, you're the one that I had coffee with.
Right.
In the mornings. Or I remember when we did these programs together, and we had that music program, we had that art workshop. So a lot of it is about making that diligent effort to keep these connections going. And you can really see the smiles from our program members, and you can really feel from the caregivers just how much that's appreciated, to keep that going, especially now, when stress is at an all-time high, due to COVID-19.
Yeah. And you got families and families are very important. How are they navigating? Because this is a new challenge for them. So what kind of, of course, we've got the virtual platform that's available to them, but what other things are in place to kind of help families in this time?
Sure, great question. So, one of the most important things is that there's a whole network of community organizations, that are really concerned about much of the same thing. So, Riverdale Senior Services, for one, is building, its, resource based on its webpage. Here's if you're concerned about food, here's where you really need to go. If you're concerned about getting medication, here is where you can get some support with that. If you really just need someone to talk with, you're feeling stressed out, you're feeling lonely, we can connect you with that too. A lot of it is just about building that awareness that just because maybe the physical program isn't actually happening, that it doesn't mean that these sorts of supports aren't available. A lot of it is about making sure caregivers don't feel alone, and don't feel like, just because you're socially isolated, because that's what we're told to do, it doesn't
Right.
mean you are isolated. So,
Yeah. And I mean, isolation seems to be the big concern for a lot of people these days, feeling isolated, or maybe even, maybe even that cabin fever. But your program still exists and things still go
absolutely.
forward. And so give us a little bit about your adult daycare program and your day program, because I think that's very important for people to know about too.
Yes, absolutely. So for 20 years now, RSS has had its adult day program for memory loss, and we're really proud of all of the wonderful connections that we've been able to make with our members who are starting to struggle, with their cognition, are concerned about, a doctor having told them they have dementia. But having dementia does not mean you stay home and you just sort of, just sort of wait, for the worst to come. That's not really how we feel about it. We really feel that everyone still has a need for connection with others. Everyone really has a need for a purpose. Everyone has a need for that sense of belonging. And that's what our adult day program for memory loss creates, is that sense of, connection, a sense of belonging, that sense of purpose. And it's, so invaluable for, not just our members, but for the caregivers, because it really alleviates those issues like depression, like boredom, and, it's really kind of special, actually, how we're able to create that experience. And I think, that reputation we built over 20 years is, really something we are thriving with now, even amid COVID-19, because members and caregivers know, just how much of an impact we've made, just by connecting with those families, well before COVID-19, became a problem here in New York.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking the time to share with us. I know you got some great work ahead of you. You guys are continuing to keep the services going, and that's what, of course, people need in a time such as this. So thank you so much for the great work that you're doing, Peter Swanson from RSS, and our guest here on Open. Got to take a quick break. We do have more Open coming up. We invite you to stay tuned. We're coming right back right after this.